Go on the cars, go. Go on the cars. Guna fam, what's good? We're back. It's match day. We have our resident from PE back with us, Murray. It's been a while, so we're gonna do a bit of a catch up. And I think he's back because we won, when times are tough. But yeah, no, it's always good to have him back. Murray, welcome back. Hope all is well. Compliments to the
Thank you.
season
Yeah.
and everything.
And to everyone from PE.
Thanks. So yeah, man, it was two bad results as in Everton and City. And then we went into Chelsea not having much hope, to be fair. I think most of the guys I spoke to, a lot of people didn't want to give their analysis or predictions. We just waited for the game and saw what happened. And to be fair, maybe Arteta's hand was forced, maybe it wasn't, but what a performance. What did you make of the results and the team itself that came out?
I've been saying this for ages. It's not the manager, it's the players that are on the field. And I think a total revamp of the entire team. I mean, we brought Martinelli on, with Everton at the start of the Everton game, and we were on fire. He brought a whole different dynamic to it. And then for the Chelsea game, we had Smith Rowe, we had Martinelli as well start up front, and it was just a whole different dynamic. So, whoever that was, whether it's Arteta or whether it's, maybe he just felt, in the past, okay, these guys aren't completely ready to be pushed into the first team. And now he gave them their chance, and look at them. They're probably going to start again tonight. So, big ups to Arteta, big ups to the guys in the field. There's definitely a massive improvement just in, I think, their attitude, their energy levels, everything is completely different. So it's good to sort of see that, with all the negative publicity of, Arteta out, this player must get to be, just get sold, under a lot of scrutiny with the club, the players. They came up and they pulled a fantastic result, against Chelsea. I think the City game, I think it's been a blessing that we actually got knocked out. I think now it's just one less competition that we really need to worry about. So I don't really see that as a loss. That's perfectly fine. Everton, once again, we lost our edge. We didn't give up right until the end. I think Arteta was right. We were just a bit unlucky. I mean, especially in the last 10 minutes, we just couldn't get the ball into the back of the net. But there's a completely different dynamic to the team. So, well done to the guys.
Yeah, no, that is true. And I think you can see that the youngsters took the chance, especially against a formidable Chelsea team with layers and layers of players that they bought. But just touching on that, a lot of our performances prior, yes, we lost. But when I look back at them, we fought towards the end. We were a bit unlucky. We weren't, okay, maybe against Villa and obviously the City game, we were a bit outclassed. But, the Everton, Leicester, a few of those games, it went down to the end and we could see the fight. We were just like, the one guy said, is like, the football gods just weren't in our favor. But all of that being said, Chelsea and the goals, man. And we can talk about a lot of players and about each individual, but I'll just point out a few. And like for me was Mari. Like, how did you feel about him starting and stuff like that? And then I know you were a fan favorite, or not too much of a fan favorite, but Xhaka's performance, especially coming off the red card. And then obviously the youngsters, you just touched on a few. And then Emil Smith-Rowe and Martinelli. And oh yeah, you can touch on Emil Smith-Rowe and Martinelli. Lacazette had a good game. Yeah, you can add anyone else in, but I just wanted to focus on those few.
Look, I think Mari, it was a bit of a surprise when I saw him on the bench, but he's had that Europa League experience. He's got a couple of games under his belt through Europa League, and he had a fantastic game. I don't think it was too bad. I think he is lacking a bit of match fitness and sharpness within the Premier League for those games. But I mean, it's good to sort of see that. Okay, fair enough. Gabriel had, was struck with or isolating. But it's good to see that these guys are taking their chance, which is especially at the back. You know, Zaka, yeah, you know, look, he's been under a lot of scrutiny from the fans for poor performances, and I think he admitted it. I mean, he didn't have to go to social media to sort of say it was his fault. I think he knew it. And like he said at the end of the game, he says, you know, actions speak louder than words. And I mean, he slotted that. I mean, oh, it was a fantastic goal. I think it had the power, it had the placements. I think the keeper got a touch on it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it hit the back of the net. And I was actually chuckling to myself because the ref pulled, they had tried to do a quick free kick and the ref pulled him back.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Chelsea's regretting that, you know, the ref didn't allow that to play on now. But John, he had a good game. I think it all depends on you know, the team's character. So maybe he's not fit enough to be captain, but you know, we really need to look at the character of the other players that he's actually feeding off. That's you know, determine whether or not he's going to actually have a good game or not. It shouldn't be like that. He's a professional, but at the same time, you know, I've been saying that, you know, Zaka does have good performances. It's just that he's always used as the scapegoat within the you know, within the team. And that might even be because of Smith Rowe that was coming back to try and get the ball and providing some opportunity or someone to actually place the ball with. You know, he played the perfect number 10 role. You know, he was getting involved, he was placing the balls, he was passing the balls, he kept the ball moving. And that's who we've been missing. And sorry to bring it up, but I mean, that's an Ozil player. Ozil did that when he was in the team. He kept the ball going.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe that was the problem. You know, our bad performances started when the team were told that Ozil's not going to be in the side. So maybe that had a mental edge. But, you know, who are you really playing for? Are you trying now to have bad performances to either put the club in jeopardy or to show that Arteta doesn't know what he's doing? When meanwhile, it clearly looks like he does sort of have a plan. It's just that some players have down tools. So, you know, let's bench them. I mean, I'm actually quite glad to not see Aubameyang on the field at the moment because his head's been down, his shooting's been terrible. So why put him on? I mean, Martinelli's lively. Lacazette seems to be more lively now because now he can push forward. You know, Eddie now just maybe needs to score a couple of goals. And Saka looks like he's actually now, you know, playing his position. He's not bunching up. He's trying to get into space. And it's just that little bit of liveliness, that ambition to move forward has brought in a whole nother spark into the team. But I mean, all the players played well. And it's just also so glad not to see William there. I know he's also maybe been used as a scapegoat, but he's had one shot on target since he started at Arsenal. That is terrible. I mean, as a professional footballer, you've been in the Premier League for how many years now? To have one shot on target, it's not good enough. And not according to Arsenal standards, at least. But, you know, I said, I think in the last time I chatted to you, I said, you know, start bringing the kids through one by one. And Smith Rowe has proved himself. I would like to see Nelson now, you know, be part of that, you know, part of that group that comes through. Maybe not play Pepe. Pepe seems to be hungry, but you know, let's get Nelson and you know give Pepe and Nelson something to fight about. And that right wing positions, you know, it's definitely open. So yeah, you know, it's good to see the youngsters come through. But let's just hope. I don't think they've got the legs to get us through to the end of the season. I think we're definitely going to need to buy. But the senior players now need to be the back end for these youngsters because they are the future of Arsenal.
Yeah, definitely. And it's good to like have these options available, you know, with these kids coming in with William. I think William, Louise, and Gabriel might be out for tonight as well. So, you know, we might get to see these guys start again, maybe another start for Mari. I think he did really well. Hopefully, Mari gets a good start. But the one thing that I know you touched on was about Martinelli. Do you think that this guy just came in and just changed everything? Because he just has a certain presence and dynamic. He hasn't really scored. I think he assisted in the City game. I'm not sure in any other game, but his energy, his work rate, just his reaction to certain things. Do you think that gave us a bit more confidence, it gave us a bit more energy in the dressing room with his return, you know, and the type of player that he is?
Well, let me put it this way. I think at the beginning of the season when we chatted, and you know, the Aubameyang contract then saga was still up in the air. I said, well, you know, maybe it's time to actually let him go. Let's build the team now around Eddie and Martinelli up front. And, I don't want to sort of say I'm right. Maybe it's just a spell that Aubameyang's actually going through. But, I think he wants now Aubameyang's spot. I know he's been started on the left, but I mean, I think he also sees that there's an opening on the left. Willian sometimes starts there, so why not fight for his position? But I really think playing Martinelli down the middle is going to be so beneficial to us until we get an out-and-out left wing. But it's his hunger. We saw it last. I don't know. Maybe he's just got a thing about playing against Chelsea. But he's just always hungry. He always wants to score. He's I can actually sort of see him playing as a number 10 at some point when he gets a bit older. Provided that we actually keep him, keep hold of him and don't sell him, because he's got that attacking mindset and he releases players, which is absolutely fantastic, and we've missed that. So I really think that if we can keep him and if we can keep him fit, more like it. I think we could start. I wouldn't say top 4. I think let's call it quits to top 4. If we get there, great. If we don't, it's not the end of the world. I wouldn't even mind seeing us getting knocked out, just out of Europa League. Maybe not having Europe next season is the perfect opportunity to bring through the youngsters. Maybe get a good couple of top signings. I don't know what the saga is now with Ayor, but he's 22. Bring him in, and we're building for the future. And now we can get Arteta's process up and running. So, building the team around these youngsters who are actually performing and who have got that attacking mindset, like Martinelli, it's great to see. But I think Aubameyang's spot, I'm going to go as far as saying and to say that it might be in the, he might have competition for his spot now, even Lacazette. Do we let go of Lacazette now, or do we hold on to him for a little bit longer? So yeah, we'll see what what Arteta does, what the club do when it comes to transfers and playing him.
I remember that conversation actually about with the Aubameyang thing, because you were more disappointed the fact that he let it play out for so long. You're like, I'd just rather let him go, and the Martinelli thing. And it's surprising that this kid brings so much to our team and that we missed over this time. And I just feel that we might overuse him because he's just you can't not use him. And I think he allows Saka to play in a different role, allows guys to be a bit more freer because he takes men on, so guys are a bit more scared of him. So things are looking quite good. Hopefully, we come off a really big 3 points that we needed. But going into today's game, do you think we can get a result away? And what would you like to see from the team?
So in the depression, if I can call it depression, November and December, on our WhatsApp group, we have a supporter who sort of said, no, our first 3 points are going to come from the Brighton game. And I had a good old chuckle when I said, well, clearly they didn't get the message because they are a week early. But if the fact that we got 3 points from Chelsea is a major boost. We've got Brighton. Sorry, I've got the fixtures here. Like, we've got Brighton, we've got West Brom. Yeah, West Brom, Newcastle. Okay, that's the FA Cup. Crystal Palace, Newcastle, and then Southampton and Man U. And that's our January. So if we can try to pick up a good couple of points by the end of Jan, I think we can get our season back on track. Southampton and Man U will probably be a bit of a tough one. We don't know where Man U is going to be at the end of Jan. And also we might even have new signings. They might even have new signings. But Southampton's doing well. And I really think we can try and take points from the rest of the rest of the games that we have till the end of Jan. But yeah, coming back to the whole thing about Arteta getting sacked, and I think the words of Ian Wright still ring loud in my ears, is that we can sack the manager 10 times over. If we don't change the team, we're going to absolutely go nowhere. And I think that's we've been saying that, and it's proving dividends now with Arteta bringing through the youngsters. I'm sure we're all now feeling very positive now against Brighton. That those feelings might change if we lose tonight or if we drop points. We're going to be disappointed, and now we're going to be blaming Arteta all over again. But we were singing his praises when it came to Chelsea. So I definitely see, you know, us taking Brighton. I think Brighton are struggling. We are playing away, so that might be a little bit difficult. And we haven't exactly had the best away record. It hasn't been too shabby, but our form, I think we need to get a couple of W's under our belt now, especially with the, you know, playing the, if we could say, the relegation battle teams, including us. I mean, apparently we're now in a relegation battle, but I don't believe we're there yet. And, you know, it's still early within the season. We're still in the first half of the season. Anything can change. Arsenal always finishes strong. And November and December have never really been the best months for Arsenal. It just unfortunately felt like it was forever because of all this COVID and all the games rushing on one by one. On the upside, we've stayed in the Europa League. We've finished top. That's always good news. And maybe Arteta's going to aim for progress through you know, into Champions League through Europa. Once again, it's, you know, if we can bring decent players in, then cool, then we can challenge. But I think for now, let's focus on getting ourselves up onto the up the table, take on Brighton, focus on the next game, take on West Brom, and this is the perfect time to get the youngsters coming. Maybe start bringing Aubameyang maybe off on the from the bench. If he can get a goal or two, great, get his confidence up. But I think now it's the new age. I think it's the Hale in time. Bring the Hale in boys on, and let's let them loose on the Premier League. I think they deserve it. I mean, they've been at the club for, since they were 9, 10. I think they've got a passion for the club. They want to fight. Warlock maybe has got a bit too much fight and less talent, but if you can get the basics, right, I think there's going to be a lot of link up between these guys, and they've played in the reserves together. They've won the reserve league. I mean, and that's without Martinelli, you know, and this is without Tierney or Kieran. I don't know. I think we've got a good youth setup, and I think let's focus on that now. We're already out of top 4. Let's build now. Let Arteta do his thing. Let him bring in the players that he needs to. Apparently, Mustafi is off to Barcelona. Awesome. You know, send him. He's old. You know, let's keep Saliba, and then let's bring him through. Sell Socrates. Socrates isn't even playing. You know, and then we can keep hold of Saliba, and then, you know, start playing him on a more regular basis. David Luiz, let's use him as sort of like a squad rotation. We've got another player coming in, you know, another youngster. So, you know, let's free up some deadwood. Let's get rid of the old guys. Xhaka, I'm still in 2 minds about, but I think, you know, he's still got a passion for the club, but, you know, he's not performing week in, week out. Maybe give him a run against Brighton. Let's use a similar team. But yeah, I think we're going to take the points tonight.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you know, funny enough, the team that won against Chelsea was no Willian, no Luiz, no Gabriel, no Partey, quite a lot of strong, no Aubameyang, Pepe. You know, a lot of the players were on another week, we would have said, this is the team. And they got the job done comfortably. And it just shows maybe he needed his hand to be forced, or maybe he took the chance. But as you said, let them thrive, let them do the grunt work and get the job done, especially with Partey coming in. It alleviates so much with Gabriel and maybe a Mari partnership with Holding kind of a thing, allows Tierney to become a full-on left back, you know, instead of a third centre back. So he's very attacking, because the penalty, you know, that was all him and the way he turned that guy. So I think if we get to see more of that, I think we do see it, but he tries not to go so deep because he's scared that he has to chase back, you know, and he always has to be on the defensive. And I think the Chelsea game, he was a bit more free. Saka was completely free. I think we all knew he had the ability, but to see him play like that against Chelsea, especially, even the goal, but everything, his work rate, everything about him was just phenomenal. But going into Jan, and obviously just the last few questions before we end, going into Jan, if we get these results, because this looks like this could be our month to pick us up and get us back into the Premier League, get some confidence. What additions would you like to see along with us getting the results? You know, like obviously you did say offload a few players. Would you like to see that more? Would you like to see a reintroduction to Ozil? How do you think Arteta would play it, or how would you like to see it played out?
I think I'd definitely like to see this whole Ayor saga just, you know, are we going to buy him? Yes, then buy him. If we're not, then let's just forget about speaking about him. We're going to need a creative midfielder. And if we don't get that by a creative midfielder, then we have no option but to bring Ozil back in. We need that because we can't play Smith Rowe week in, week out, unfortunately. As good as a player is, we potentially could ruin his career. We could bring on the injuries. We could, hamper his progress. He could be fatigued. It's just no. We can't only rely on him. We've got Willock, but I mean, he's not an impact player. He's just he's like a workhorse. He's just an engine, runs up and down, box to box. That's it. But look, a couple of players that need to be offloaded. We don't know what the contracts are of these players. I mean, they could, maybe that's why we have to play William. Maybe that's why we have to play Louise. Maybe they, in their contract, they've got to play X amount of games. We don't know the back end of what their contracts are all about. But bring Ozil back. It looks like he's hungry for it. I mean, he might be the spark that we need. Maybe Smith Rowe can learn from him. He probably is learning from him on the training grounds because Ozil's still there. But don't keep the player and don't use him in training if we're not going to use him. I think because the attackers then get used to, having these through balls, having the certain pass and the guys running past them. And then all of a sudden in the game, they're flat-footed. They've got absolutely no energy. So, look, we're going to need a creative midfielder. I think our defense is fine. We can reevaluate that at the end of the season. I think our strike force up front should be fine. I think Aubameyang and Lacazette just need to start scoring a bit more. Our midfield, we definitely need to buff up our midfield. I think we've got our holding guys. We've got El Nani who does the basics right. We've got Partey. If we can keep him fresh, I don't think there's any reason to rush him back now. But in worst case scenario, then we put Niles in the middle. At least then Niles can put in a shift. It looks like we're looking at the right back of Brighton to bring him in because Bellerin might be offloaded to Barcelona. So, we've got options. So it's going to be interesting that if we are actually looking at this player, how he actually plays tonight. I don't really like getting defenders, but it looks like we're still buffing that up. But we need to get the creative juices flowing again. We need a creative midfielder. We need to buff up our midfield a bit. Without that, we're not going to go anywhere. We're still going to be a mid-table team.
Yeah, we definitely lacked a bit of creativity. And I think the direct play that they brought against Chelsea and even in Europa shows that we need that kind of essence in our midfield. But I'm actually looking forward to Partey. I'm not sure what moves are going to happen in Jan. We just got to wait and see. And I think these next few games are huge for us. And do you think this, after Chelsea, maybe into Brighton? Sorry, last question, and then
That's right.
So West Brom's a tough one. So getting a result at Brighton and maybe getting the West Brom result, do you think that can get us back to kind of? I know I asked like, this month will do us good if we win all, but it's a confidence thing, and I think that as much as we want to see these kids play, they're going to play in, week out, and can they get the job at Brighton, West Brom? And if there's a change, so will these wins now allow the team and Arteta and everybody to just come together? You know what I mean? Because it felt there was a bit of a disparity there between everyone. Some people didn't like it. You did touch on maybe they weren't happy with the Ozil stuff. But do you think these wins slowly but surely get everyone together and be like, look, we're here to achieve X and we need to do it? And this has become a bit embarrassing right now, or what do you think will be that turning point?
I think winning breeds confidence. And I think everybody was frustrated at the fact that, the hard work that they're putting on the training ground is just not paying dividends on the field. I think Hasselbank sort of said it at the end of the game. He said, the manager could do everything 100% correct, choose the correct team, choose the correct tactics, choose, do everything on the training ground. But on the day, if the players are not performing, it's not the manager's fault. The manager did everything correct. It's the players that if they have a bad day, if everything that shoots goes wide, that's not the manager's fault. The fact that they can't shoot a ball or can't pass a ball, it's not the manager's fault at all. So I think there's just been a sense of frustration within the whole camp. You know, we've seen players that like right after the game come out and say, you know, this is not the manager, this is us. You know, we feel just as disheartened as you guys. We're going to come back stronger. And they do. Every single game, you see a little bit of progress. And it's not so much as progress as getting the points, but it's progress as in, you know, the way that they're playing and everything from there. So yes, I think, you know, this January run in will definitely help us. Chelsea, I think, is a major boost, considering on their form that they've been in. So yeah, you know, just hoping for the best. I think every single Arsenal fan, player, ball, like just the whole club, I think we're tired of seeing the defeat. It's going to take a while for us to get up the table. You know, a lot of results are going to need to go into our favour. It's good to sort of see Spurs, you know, drop in a good couple of points, and you know, United and Liverpool. I'm not saying that we're going to catch them right at the top of the table, but you know, seeing the small guys, I say that with the pinch of salt, but you know, the Aston Villas and the Everton, you know, they're up there and they're really challenging. So it's always good to see, because we can beat those teams. It's just a matter of, you know, we played them at the wrong time. So hopefully now this January run, we can climb the table, it can breed confidence, and then we can finish the season strong. And hopefully, you know, get a good couple of points off the big guys like Liverpool or City, or, you know, when Spurs come to us, you know, let's give them a taste of their own medicine. So yeah, it's going to be tough. Look, we can't say it's going to be a breeze now because we've got no big opposition. It all depends on, you know, West Brom, they even might be difficult because they know they're going to need the points. Everyone knows that we're struggling, but I think it's Big Sam is back. So we might even get a draw there. We might lose the points, but you know, it all depends on our character and who wants it the most. So it's going to be tough. And those relegation sides, it's always difficult playing them. You know, they're going to go in hard. They're going to give their all. They're going to leave everything out on the field. It all depends. Do we actually want to get out of that battle? Do we want to get back into the top 10, top 8, whatever our goal is for the season? Do we want to achieve that? Or maybe our goal is just get the youngsters having that experience. That's a perfectly fine goal for us. But I think us as Arsenal supporters, we need to stop, you know, setting these unreachable targets. Beginning of the season, no, we won in the league. No, we're going to be finishing top 4. Let's just focus on building a team first. I mean, you know, even like I think Ian Wright says, you know, these guys don't have the stamina. We've got good players, but we don't have the stamina to keep it up week in, week out. So it's not the manager's fault, it's the players. And that last bit to the season, how badly do the players want it? Are they going to give their everything to make sure that we get over the line and that they can hold their heads up high and then start the new season off like, okay, this is what we're capable of. This is what we want to achieve in the new season. And then start setting smaller goals like that. Or we need goals. But I think the Chelsea game was you know, I think it had everything to lift the whole club. I mean, it had a penalty, which we scored. It had a free kick. We scored from a free kick. We scored from open play. We had a penalty saved. I mean, if that doesn't give every single department or every single position on the field in the club a boost, then I don't know what's going to do that.
And we also had so many, we had quite a few good chances as well. There was a Martinelli one, a few Martinelli one, or one Martinelli, a few other ones. But we actually, to be fair, we dominated that game. I don't think Chelsea can come out and even say they even could have come back. Yeah, maybe if they scored that penalty, but still, it's like, Len, that was just a brilliant save. I actually wanted to touch on that and I forgot to talk about the penalty because Xhaka stole the show, to be fair with me. I really enjoyed his performance, especially the way everything went down. I thrive on that. I like redemption performances. And this is probably the best I've seen him play. Like that ball where Tierney actually got the penalty, it was him that played it quite far back. And the one guy was like, he's playing forward now. And this is what we need to see more of from him. And it's such a small thing that makes such a big difference, you know. And the thing is, you are right. The players need to also come to the party because Arteta's tactics are fairly decent, you know. I think he has the right approach. Maybe here and there, not so. Maybe the Willian thing will always be questionable. But you can see in some of the performances. But we know we always, and I think you've always said this well, we have a mistake in us, and when we get to the red zone, you can see a lot more. But I think the composure's coming back. I think the kids, everything's coming back. And, it's nice. It's scary what a win can do, to be fair. Like everyone was so angry. And then after this, and a confident win, it wasn't like a 1-0, it was like we're here to set the record straight. So it's surprising what it can do, and hopefully it spurs everyone on and shows. And I think you touched on it well. The kids, we have to hail the kids from Hell End. Sorry, I got caught in my head, and I was trying to say it. Yeah, no. But yeah, Mari, I think we covered. Do you have a prediction for tonight? I know you're not a big predictor, but
I would like to see a clean sheet, if anything. I think the defense deserves it after everything that they've been through. And hopefully Martinelli gets a goal. I think this is going to be a good opposition for him to try and, get back up and running. But he looks like he's got the legs. I think he came off in the 60th, 70th minute against Chelsea. So he's slowly but surely gaining his fitness back. And he looks hungry for a goal. I think he knows that Arteta's looking at him. I think he knows that the world and the Arsenal fans are looking at him. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot of performances now. Xhaka, yes, he's passing forward, but I think we need to look at why he's passing forward. Simply because there's probably players that are making the runs. Yeah. You can't pass the ball forward if there's no one making the runs. So I think something's definitely changed. I don't know if it was the threat that every player's salary is going to be like 25% capped if they land up in the relegation zone or what it is. But once again, it comes back to who are you playing for? Are you playing for yourself or are you playing for the club? If you're playing for the club, show your heart. And that's why I say bring the youngsters through. If you're playing for for yourself and for the money, then Arsenal's not the club for you. Henry and many of the old guys have said, the badge is heavy. If you're not willing to carry it, then rather just leave the club. And maybe that's what's happening to Aubameyang. I know he's been injured, but is it a psychological injury? Because that guy doesn't really get injured a lot. We've had him for season in, season out, and he's hardly really been injured. The fact that he's not scoring enough goals, is that maybe hampering him? Lacazette at least is coming out and he's trying to prove himself, even though some of his performances have been shocking. But you can see that he's hungry. He's not dragging his feet on the pitch. Even before you go out, it looks like Aubameyang, he's not smiling anymore. Is that like a psychological mental issue? Is it, is something really like, is he not happy with something? If so, then do we put him as captain? Because as a captain, you're supposed to be there bringing up the team. And we can't have you, dragging your head around or dragging your boots around. You're supposed to be there. If you want to leave a legacy, then do it. Score goals. Doesn't matter what position you play. You're getting a big ass, paycheck. Prove that you are worth that paycheck. But so far, Martinelli up front, Lacazette's doing well. Let's keep playing him. Maybe let's play Eddie tonight. But I just want a clean sheet. I want a couple of goals. Let's get the youngsters. Maybe even Smith Rowe can score one, depending if he starts. But yeah, let's play the youngsters again. Let's get them used to Premier League football. Mix it up a little bit with the experienced guys, and I think we're going to start going far.
Yeah, I'd also like to see Martinelli score. It would be nice. And I think, just touching on that, now we can actually play the crossing ball, because we have somebody that's quite aerial, quite tall, good athletic player in the box. Hopefully he plays him in the box. But, now I can understand if we cross a bit more, because we can actually hit someone now. So let's hope it works, because I remember Martinelli's first goal, I think it was like a Saka assist for like a near post header. But the way he turned it in, was just like, you could just see it's just pure talent that boy has. So hopefully he does what he needs to do. And Murray, thanks as always. It's always a pleasure having you on.
On that point, that's it. On that point, actually, you make a good point now. We've got somebody who's got the aerial abilities, but I think also we've been going down the middle now. We haven't really been going down the wings. We're passing the ball through the middle, but the wing backs and the wingers are now crossing it just outside the box. which gives a whole different game plan. And I mean, we're moving the ball quicker. Before we used to pass it at the byline or, on the side, and, the defenders just cleared it out. Now we're actually going through the middle. Defenders don't know what to do. They don't know who to mark. And we're moving the ball a lot quicker, which is also something that I've said. So it's a whole different game plan. But now we've got the players that can actually move the ball around. We've got those creative players. So either bring Ozil back, who can open up those gaps, or you bring in someone who can grow into his position, like an Aor or whichever other creative midfielder you got. But don't sell our youngsters. Sell the old guys. Let's rebuild completely, and let's start taking 3 points from teams that aren't that aren't expecting it.
No, 100%. I agree with that. I think, yes, they have been more direct and a lot faster on play. I remember even Xhaka and Lacazette moving the ball in the midfield a lot quicker, releasing our wing backs, which, that's all we ask for. It's not hard. It's not like science, and we used to do that. I just felt that they held up play too much. Or, as you said, that was a good question. What is making Xhaka pass forward? I think that will answer all our questions, because for the past 3 seasons, we've been asking ourselves, why is he always passing back? So finally, we get that kind of movement. But yeah, Murray, thanks for that last point there. It opened up something. Now I'm just thinking. It's going to be a good game because Brighton's a quick team. So we need that kind of play, definitely. But you have a good one and enjoy the game. It's always great having you on. Keep safe down there in PE, and I'll catch you soon.
Guys.
Hopefully after the game. If not, have a great new year. And yeah.
You too. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks, Curtis.
It's Murray. It's me, Kish. Yeah.